Welcome to BBL Live, home of the news for the best baseball in the world, the Boom Baseball League. Today we are joined with a special guest, Commissioner Britton MacDougall and manager of the Pittsburgh Polar Bears. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to BBL Live. This is not your normal guy running the show. It is your deputy commissioner and Fiji Flamingo manager Nathan Giaimo, and I'm hosting today the BBL commissioner and head coach of the Pittsburgh Polar Bears, Britton MacDougall. How are you doing on this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this interview.
Okay, so last year it started off very hot. You were able to hit the ball and pitch the ball very well. What are your thoughts on if the game evolves? Maybe the drag bunt meta is taken out of the game. How do you evolve with that?
Well, you see, the thing about it is regardless if bunting, if our guys are able to get on laying bunts down or not, I still like a good speed and contact guy. I like hitting doubles. I like hitting triples. And I'm not too big on guys who are going to either hit a home run or a bust. I think the biggest of innings you can have are those innings where you're just breaking down that pitcher base hit after base hit. And that's just our style of baseball. If the bunt is working, then the bunt's working. You know, if the defense gives us the bunt, we're going to use the bunt. If our guys can bunt, we're going to try and bunt. But if our guys are struggling to get on through the bunt, we're not afraid to let them hit the ball. I just wouldn't expect too many slow power hitters in our lineup. That's just not our brand of baseball.
Yep, we saw a lot of those orders from you, and a lot of people would question it. But then you saw it in spring training this year. You beating Yemen 7-0, and that leads me to the next point. What are your thoughts on your team from what happened last year going into this year, starting off hot early and then falling off with more competition with Fiji and Yemen?
Well, you know, our first four, I don't think our first four rings should be ignored. We won 4 straight, and I think it was a pretty historic run. I'm really proud of that. Then Fiji got hot, and I've talked about this in prior interviews with managers. Is this league tends to be a league of streaks, and normally when a manager gets hot, they stay hot for a little bit. We saw that in BBL 19 with Hoover and Barra, and then we saw that with myself, and then you, and then Maroney. So I think the four championships were important. They were definitely something I'll never forget. But we only got one after that streak, and we beat Coach Maroney, who had a very good team in the championship game or championship series, and we're proud of that ring. And that was probably the hardest ring we've ever won. But after that, we struggled, and we really had some pitiful seasons. We had some seasons where we only won like one game, and I'm just not proud of that. And I think the main thing is pitching. Our pitching didn't evolve with the competition. And the way we play baseball, we're not going to be able to keep up if we can't pitch the ball. And if our pitchers can't evolve late in this season, it might be a long one.
Great answer there. It really shows your compassion and will to your team. I've got to ask you the question. It's on everyone's mind. You are the BBL commissioner after all. What are your thoughts on the situation in Yemen and the relocation to Yemen? And do you think the relocation should give Harrison Maroney a clean slate?
Well, I've always been taught that, we should forgive, but we should never forget. And I think, just like they say, we need to learn history so it doesn't repeat itself. He served his time for what the committee found illegal, and we gave him a suspension. people don't realize we gave him a suspension in the hottest time of his career. He very well could have 6 rings instead of yourself. So, that suspension, one tournament suspension is huge. It really changed it really got his team cold, and then they went and lost to our team the next tournament. The thing about it is we have to keep an eye on them. They are on probation this year. One slip up and it could be over. But away from the cheating scandal, the main thing that scares me about his team is its location. It's in a very, poor part of the world. We went ahead and approved it because there's no immediate threat as of now to the BBL and baseball. We don't think that anybody's going to mess with us there. We think that they're going to love us there and, want to be able to watch sports there. But as soon as we see it as a unsafe place to play for any team, they're going to have to relocate because at the end of the day, we're here to keep our fans and our players safe. Through this whole pandemic, we got through it. We wouldn't want something to happen with something non-COVID related.
All right, I've got one more question. With this new year of BBL, you've got divisions. Are you ready to take on the possible changes in your division with possible teams that could miss some tournaments?
I think the biggest thing with that is we know going into it, we're in a pandemic year. We know going into it, like I said in the preseason conference, that nobody's required to play in 100% of the tournaments. Players want rest, coaches want rest. So there is going to be some changes in divisions, We're going to have to be flexible there. But I'm ready. We're ready to play anybody. As a manager standpoint of the Polar Bears, we're always ready to play anybody. Our style of play can beat anybody at any time, regardless of who it is. And as far as a commissioner standpoint, scheduling and stuff like that, I'm not worried about. We have professionals, a good committee. You're going to help me out on the international side of things. It's going to be a great year of baseball, and I'm very excited.
And I'm very excited for you to keep on moving with the greatest baseball network in the world, the BBL, coming straight to you. Thank you, Britton MacDougall, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Polar Bears and the commissioner of the BBL. Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you for listening. See you next time on BBL Live, home of the Boom Baseball League.